and welcome to Angela's Busy Bees Garden and Homestead. And guys, this video is in collaboration with Gardening with Bernie and also with Renee's Garden in showing you how we ladies get down in the garden. Well, the first thing I want to share with you is that I always put on something that's very comfortable because in order to get down in the garden, you need to sometimes get dirty. And so what I'm wearing here is an old top. It's like a scrub that I used to wear when I owned a daycare. But what I love about wearing them now is the pockets are so helpful because I'm always putting things in my pockets, tools, what have you. But what I'm going to share with you right now is what I'm going to do first, which is propagate some Brazilian spinach. And I have some brown turkey fig cuttings, and also I have some citrus. And all of these were collected from our trip to Mobile, Alabama. So I'm so excited to get those propagated just to see how it's going to turn out. I've had success, of course, with the fig cuttings, but I have not had success with propagating citrus. So I'm going to try it one more time. And of course, the Brazilian spinach is new to me. It is a heat tolerant spinach, very nutritious, high in vitamins A and K. It can help fight breast cancer. Also, it helps with eye health, improving your vision. So many wonderful benefits, and so I'm really excited to find a heat tolerant variety. And if you are in growing zones 8 through 11, this is also a perennial spinach. But for me, I'm in growing zone 7A Tennessee. I'm going to bring mine into the greenhouse over the winter, and hopefully I can have fresh spinach all year round. So what I'm going to do to get started, I have some peat moss, as you see here, and also some perlite. And so I have mixed the peat moss and the perlite, and this is what it looks like. And guys, I'm always using recycled materials. Over here, as you can see, I have a tray of recycled pots, and I've placed some soil in some of them. And here are some other pots that I'll be using as well. But what I'm going to do is, let me grab these scissors. I'm going to remove a lot of the limbs on here. That's one. Here's another one. Take this one off. You want to remove a lot of the lower limbs, and pretty much with all of your soft stems, you can basically root them in water. But I am going to go on and place mine in soil, and I'm not even going to scrape the cambium layer because, as I've stated, this is a soft stem. I'm simply going to place it. Let me make a hole. Let me use this to make a hole. Simply stick it inside and keep it moist. And so that's what I'm going to do with each one of these. In fact, I may add 2 per container so that I don't run out of pots. Okay, and simply just going to water it in, and I'm going to do this for all of the Brazilian spinach. Now for my brown turkey fig, I'm going to use this as my first cutting. And as you can see, there are several nodes, 1, 2, that I have here at the bottom. And I'm simply going to scrape the cambium layer. And I didn't bring my knife out here with me like I normally do. As a matter of fact, this one is splitting. I'll cut it. I don't know why this one is okay, there it is. So I'm going to scrape. Okay. Let's take that off. Would be better if I had my knife with me, but you get the idea of how to scrape the cambium layer. I'm using my rooting hormone, which I purchased from Lowe's. It's called Garden Safe Take Root rooting hormone, and I'm simply going to place my fig cutting into the pot here, as you can see here, and I'm just going to water it in. Now all of these are going to sit here on my patio, which is under a covered area, and so it's not getting direct sunlight. That way I can always come out and just make sure that it's moist. And now I'm going to show you how I'm going to root my citrus cutting. Okay, so this one here I can probably get 3 cuttings from, and I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this one off. Remove these bottom leaves. Okay. Can probably get 2 out of this. Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. I'm scraping the cambium layer. Gonna dip it into some rooting hormone. I have a pot here with my peat moss and perlite. Place it into the hole. And I'm simply going to water this in as well. And so I'm going to go on and finish up the rest. As you see here in this bowl, I have a lot of things that are still sitting in water, but I'm not going to make this a long video because there's a lot of other things that I have to show you because we get down in the garden, my garden girl and I. But I'm going to go on and finish these up, and then when I get to the next project, I'll take you along with me. So stay with me. And here, guys, I have them all potted up. I went back also because I wanted to root some more basil, and so I have a few regular basil, and then we have some of the purple basil. And in the back here are the 4 Brazilian spinach that I received from Pat G. Smith during my visit with her. And these fig cuttings, as well as all of the citrus, were cuttings that I received from my visit with Pat G. Smith. And so now that I know that this project has been done and everything has been watered in, I can now move on to my next project to show you how we get down in the garden. And so now, guys, I'm standing in front of the door of the chicken coop, and I've been talking about I'm going to paint this door red for the longest. I started on yesterday, and today I will be adding another coat because I can see where the other color of the door is still streaking through just a little. So I'm going to add another coat of paint to this door. And hopefully this will be the last coat that I'll need on this door. There's just a few areas where I see that it needs another coat of paint. But before I could paint, I had to use a primer so that the paint would adhere to the door, because this was a metal door that I had in my garage that was not being used. And while I'm doing this, my garden girl has been helping me to water the plants in the butterfly garden, and she's going to be helping me to water the plants that I have in hanging baskets on the chicken, around the chicken coop, around their run area. Now I'm just going to step back to see if I missed anything. Maybe one more here. Okay guys, I'm going to finish this up and I'll be right back with you. And here's my garden girl Ava.
Hi.
And she is watering and giving the flowers in the hanging baskets a little miracle grow in water because they've lost all of their blooms, and so hopefully this will help it. Great job, Ava.
Thank you.
And she's going to go around to all of them and do that. There's a total of 6 hanging baskets. Great job, Ava. Now go around to the other side.
This is how we get down in the garden.
All right. Great job. She has a few more to water. And we created 2 new planters, one on each side of the door of the chicken coop. And in the planters, we have put in perennial hostas, coleus, begonias, and also the perennial fern, the hardy fern. Okay, make sure they all get water all around, Ava, to each one, okay? Any more for this one? All right, guys. We have another project that we need to get on to. Right, Ava?
Yes.
All righty. And guys, this is a project that I started that I have not finished, and that is making a raised bed on one side of the chicken coop using cinder blocks. And I will be using the hugelkultur method to fill this raised bed. And as you can see, we've started collecting a lot of sticks and broken branches that have fallen anytime we have a heavy rain. And so as you see here, I am about 4 bricks short. So Ava and I, we're going to get in the car and go to one of the big box stores and pick up about 4 more cinder blocks so that we can close this raised bed off. And then I will be filling this raised bed with wood chips. And then on top of the wood chips, I have lots of eggshells and banana peels from when I've been making banana nut bread and zucchini bread. So I have a lot of eggshells and peelings from uh, the bananas and what have you, and some other kitchen scraps that I will add on top of the wood chips. But as you can see, I have laid cardboard down first to suppress the grass and the weeds. And so on top of this would be the wood chips, then my kitchen scraps. I have chicken manure also that I could add to this area. And then I'll cover it with another layer of wood chips just to keep rodents and other things from getting into, the eggshells or the banana peels that I have here. And then I won't add any soil just yet until next year because I don't plan to plant anything in this bed until next year. And of course, we'll have lots of leaves from the trees later in the year anyway. And so, but that is how I am going to fill this bed. The most cost effective way is using the hugelculture method and using resources from what we have here on the homestead. So I will come back once we have purchased the cinder blocks and have added our first layer of wood chips to this area. Hello guys, so we've added the additional blocks as you can see here, and I have added 1 layer of the wood chips, and now I'm going to be adding some of my chicken manure that you see here to it. And I'm going to, excuse me, let me move this wheelbarrow out of the way. And then now I'm going to start adding some of the chicken manure. This manure is aged, but the mere fact that I'm not going to be using this bed until next year, it's going to age even further. And it's going to help also to break down the wood chips because the wood chips are considered the carbon material and the chicken manure is a nitrogen, so it'll all break down. I'm going to add a little bit more. Further this way. Okay. And in this bag, I have some of the scraps, and it has started breaking down. And as you can see here, it's a bunch of banana peels, field peas, and eggshells. And as I have more kitchen scraps, I'll be adding to different parts of this bed. And so now what I'm going to do is get another pile of wood chips and then add that as a final layer to break down. And then of course I won't be adding soil until next year. Okay? Just keep going with me. I have one more major project once I complete this one. So guys, I'm over here by the wood chip pile, and I have been working this pile since I received it earlier in the year, and I've been using it basically when I need it. And so because I'm completing, trying to fill a new bed, I always layer the wood chips at the bottom. But if you come closer, you can see that on top of the wood chips it looks pretty dry. But where I have been digging right here, you can see how the wood chips are breaking down and turning into soil. And so that's what it's going to do once I put it in the bed and start adding more nitrogen to it. It will break down even faster. And you can see why I wear comfortable clothes in the garden, because you will really get your workout. Okay, now that I have the wheelbarrow full, I'm going to add this on top of the chicken manure and the food scraps, and I'll let you see what it looks like when it's all done. Okay? Almost done with this project, guys. Just a few scoops more. There it is. And this project has been completed. On to the next one. Okay guys, so this is the last project that I'm going to tackle today, and it is cutting back some of these branches, as you see here, hanging up high, and they are casting too much shade over my watermelon plants here, and I want them to get adequate sun. And so I've purchased this Black & Decker trimmer here. I'm not sure of what the official name of it is, but it has an extender that came along with it, and it's battery operated. And so I will be using this to trim back all of these lower hanging branches. But before I do that, I want to send this challenge on to some more ladies in the gardening community. I want you to show me how you get down in the garden. And as I've stated before, these pockets come in handy. So I have a list of ladies that I would like to challenge to show us how they get down in the garden. And they are Gigi's Naturals Homestead, Robin's Tiny Homestead, Pat G. Smith, Mary Campbell Reap the Harvest Homestead, and Diva Jones 03. Ladies, I am tagging you and I am throwing the shovel at you to show us how you get down in the garden. And guys, I'm going to come back after I have trimmed a lot of these low-hanging branches so that you can see what I've done. But stay with me. Thank you so much. And guys, the final chore that I have for the day is to prepare dinner for my family, my grandkids and I. And as you can see, I've got this stove going. But just want to thank all of you so much for watching. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future videos. And guys, stay blessed. Bye-bye.